Hello, Itzzwan here, and welcome back to another video, and today I've got another special guest. So joining me today is English moderator, artist, and good friend, Miss AbigailWyatt. Hello, Abby.
Hello, oh my god, it has been so long since I did anything like this.
Yeah, been so long, and I know in the past we've made a couple of videos together. In particular, we actually made almost a prequel to the video which we're doing today, which was when we talked about your favourite cards. And I look back and I didn't realise that video actually came out 5 years ago.
That list would be very different if I was to redo, like, my part of it.
Yeah, but I was just amazed that I've known you for, like, must be clearly over half a decade.
I know, oh god, I feel old.
Yeah, so as I've alluded to, what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be talking about some of my favourite cards. And it's a weird one because I was so confident that after your video we made like a follow-up video where I talked about my favourite cards, but clearly I must have just manifested them out of nowhere because sure enough that video just doesn't exist.
No.
No. But I get to sort of nerd out a tiny bit and talk about some cards in the card game for once. I mean, when you're making a video like this, really, the best place to start is, well, the start and when you actually started playing the game. And for me, in terms of favourite cards, the first one which comes to mind is Giani, just because he was one of the first characters which I got introduced to. To give a bit of context, I actually discovered Urban Rifles through my brother. Basically, one day we were just sat around the family PC and he was showing me this random online game which he'd come across with. He had these cards and they came with different rarities, and for a uncommon card he showed Giovanni as a example. And I don't know why, but for some reason that card has just always stuck with me, and I've always remembered it, and I don't really know why. It's a bit of a funny one because the card itself really is not remarkable in the slightest. He's got 5 power, 6 damage, so I think even when he got released in, let's have a look, it was 2007. I mean, I don't know whether that card would have been even playable back then. But Giovanni himself, yeah, I just think, especially that 3rd level artwork, he just looks quite cool. He's got the dual carrying guns, and I can't remember who said it, but I think in some of the old comments, people used to comment how, especially in his 3rd level artwork, he kind of resembles Richard Hammond. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I don't see it.
Do you not?
No.
I think he does. Like, fair enough, I don't think Hammond has ever really worn glasses like that, but I'm sure there was a good time where he used to have like a bit of a goatee, a haircut similar to that. But no, I guess not.
No, I'm not seeing the hamster there.
No, fair enough. One thing which I do actually find really interesting though is, if you have a look at his description, it says that of course his life changed when he met a lady called Selena. And usually when in bios you have like a card or whatnot brought up, eventually down the line they'll actually make a card revolving around that character. But still to this day, we've never had a Selena in the game at all. And I just think it would actually be quite cool if eventually one of these days we did actually get a Selena card. But I don't know if that would ever happen.
I think, is it Amelia from the All-Stars? She got released around maybe the same year, maybe earlier than Giovanni. And remember how long it took for us to get Marie? Yeah,
true.
I also remember that when Selena from the Pussycats got released, a few people were like, oh, is this the one that left Giovanni at the altar? Until we realised, oh wait, hers is spelt with an I and this is Selena with an E, so it's not the same woman.
Yeah, because when I read the bio, I was like, oh yeah, they're on about that Pussycats card, aren't there? But no, like you said, it's spelt very similar, but it's not the same person, unfortunately. So I guess that's just kind of a bit of a unsolved mystery. And then card number 2, what I've gone for is Tewe LD. I can't fully remember, But either Tewe or Dr. Van Wessel was the first ever LD card which I obtained. I really, really, really don't know which one it is. But, I mean, ultimately, when it comes to Tewe, the main thing I have to say is, he's just so cute. Like,
It's Pikachu syndrome.
yeah, but he's just adorable, and that's it, ultimately. But outside of that, I do like the fact that I'm trying to remember, did Tewe come out before or after Kalindra?
Hang on, I can check.
I think he was after Kalindra, wasn't he?
Yeah, 5th. She was over a month later. She was the 15th of June.
Yeah, because I thought he came first, and then later on is when we got to meet Frozen's clan leader. I mean, is Kalindra still the leader?
Yeah, she was at the time.
But now it's Cadmendus by the looks of it.
It says it's Brock.
Brock. Oh yeah, of course it is. I mean, I don't really know why, but he just is.
I mean, it says he was son of the last Lord of Frozen Ross, and he sealed the alliance with Kalindra to basically get the Yetis and the humans living together, so...
He's like the bringer of peace, for one who sort of united the two nations.
I mean, at least it makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose so. So, props to them there. And also, like I mentioned, Tewe, of course, he then appeared in Kalindra's artwork and became part of her storyline. And also in Tewe's artwork, you get to see him creating Tewe 1, which again was another card which then was like a spin-off from his artwork, which I think is also really cool. In terms of stats and abilities and all that stuff, I do just think in general Tewe is a card who has always really meshed super well with Frozen and their bonus. Because base stats alone, now he's 6'4". I'm trying to remember if he's always been 6'4". He maybe might not have been. I'm not too sure. But his base stats aren't really that remarkable. But then either you can use him for his ability, because until we got Tewe 1, Frozen for the longest time, they did not have a damage reductor, so that was the best that you had.
Well, that's true.
Or alternatively, if you wanted, you could use Tewe when he had his bonus activated, and then he'd be 8-6 for a 3-star, which is really, really good stats. So I did always quite like the versatility of that card.
Is Tewe one of the few characters that's kind of grown up from when he was released?
I don't know.
Because they made it out like he was like a child when he got released. And then I remembered they gave him a girlfriend.
What?
And
They did?
yeah, Ayla, the cute little Yeti, is going out with our darling TBL.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember now.
And she looks older. So I'm wondering if Tewe's one of the few that's actually grown up.
Yeah, because in his artwork, he very much looks like a toddler or a baby, because he's got what kind of resembles a nappy. And then in the other artwork, he looks maybe... I mean, I'm always terrible when it comes to kids' ages. I don't really know what the difference is between 6 and an 8-year-old, but I'd say he looks like around, 9 or so? Yeah, you'd very much assume that if he's got a girlfriend and all that, he must be a bit older. Let me have a look at Ayla. But I know exactly which one you're on about, because it's the little Yeti with the pink bow. Because they've done the Disney thing where, to connote this as a female character, just whack a bow on it, that'll do. Just call it a day there.
To be fair to Urban Rivals, it was more a red rose rather than your typical pink bow.
Oh yeah, no, it is see, that's me misremembering. But yeah, no, I do 100% get what you mean, because she does definitely look older.
Yeah, I was just looking up Kalindra then, because I know, he does look a little older, in the later forms, but he's still got what looks like the nappy on, so I'm still trying to figure out his age.
You just need to make a Matt Pat over-obsessed figuring out Tewe's age video.
Well, that's just a theory. A Frozen theory.
Rest in peace. For the third card I've picked, to be fair, I'll start this one with actually a question for you. So, in-game, are there any cards which you just find inherently funny?
In regards to what?
Just anything. If there's just anything which tickles you regarding a card, whether it be like a pun, the artwork, just the concept of it, anything really.
I mean, this isn't probably what you were going for, but if I'm like playing and training or whatever, and Gahar like shows up in my opponent's hand, I'm like, haha, you dick. I don't like Gahar.
Is that Jungo card?
No, that is the 5-star from the Sentinel with the really punchable face.
Let me have a look at which card you're on about.
People reckon he might be based on Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Gahar, yeah. Yeah, to be fair, that card is really bloody annoying. I mean, build-wise, he's looks like Sylvester Stallone, but I don't know, like, in the first artwork, he kind of looked a tiny bit like David Hasselhoff to me.
Okay, now that I can see.
Yeah, but no, I get what you mean. He just does look incredibly smug, and he's just the type of person where, like, of course, you should never prejudge anyone, but if, like, you were at a bar or whatever and you just saw that person, in the back of your head, you just think, oh god, that person just looks insufferable.
Yeah.
That's just the vibe which I get from Gahar.
Yeah, like I said, that's probably not like the answer you were looking for, but no, go ahead. What? I imagine you find something for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just laughing looking at his artwork now, but for me, I don't know why, but one card which I just find hilarious is William, who also is coincidentally from Sentinels.
I'll go!
It's just a fact that it's like a dog in his second artwork just rocking a Glock with his little tie, and then in the third artwork he's got the Splinter Cell goggles with then the full-on sniper rifle. It's just the fact that you've got a dog all equipped. I just find it really funny. And I don't know why. And even then, like, I think it's quite cool how William in-game is Copper CR's loyal servant, which is always nice when things get tied in. Again, it's another card where, in terms of playability, he's kind of useless because he's got pretty bad stats, and again, I don't know if anyone's really ever played him, but he's just a card where when I see him, he just makes me smile, and I think that's just quite nice.
I think he's one of the, like, you know, when the game first got released, I think he's one of the originals, and I'm wondering if he is the first animal character we had that wasn't acting particularly like an animal.
Yeah, maybe. This artwork's definitely very old. I mean, you can just tell from, like, the aspect ratios and how you've got, like, the artifacting around his body.
Maybe he's due a redraw soon, we don't know.
Yeah, maybe. That may be quite nice, but if anything, I'd kind of hope that then they'd up the ante and just go...
What, dog with rocket launcher?
God, imagine. But then, the next card is actually linked to William, because another card which I've always liked is Cedrone, and if you cast your mind back, of course, who appears in Cedrone's first artwork, well, supposedly.
Oh yeah, Paul, why is he stuck in there?
I don't know. But also, in terms of trivia, what's actually really notable about that first level artwork of Cedrone, other than the fact that William's in it, supposedly?
I know it's not about the artwork, but I'm just trying to remember.
It was about the artwork.
Originally had no... Oh, I was going to say, what I was going to say
Sorry.
wasn't about the artwork, but didn't Zedrone originally not have an ability?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then they did that big vote about who gets the ability, and he got the copy up bonus. And I was actually going to say it, like, when we was talking about Giani. I'd really love Giani to get an ability next.
Yeah, it'd be quite cool if, like, they made it so that he was playable in some respects, because I know he's also appeared in some of the old Urban Rifles comics, hasn't he? So I guess he's at least a card who's noteworthy.
Oh yeah, he was one of the ones that got absolutely mashed up by the hurricane.
But anyway, the reason why his art in his first level was so notable is because I believe that was actually the first instance where another Urban Rifles card appeared in another card's artwork, so there you go.
I actually never would have guessed that.
Yeah, there you go, you learn something new every day. Also in his bio, I've always found that quite amusing because it mentions how he's got many talents, including interrogating hostages and freeing suspects, which...
I mean, I don't blame that being the case in terms of hostages and suspects, given it was Robin that created him, and there's kind of that implied thing that Robin's not very good at his job.
Yeah. I think sometimes what Open Rifles kind of misses is, I think especially in a lot of the older bios, there was a bit of humour and stuff which could quite tickle you, but I don't think we really tend to get that nowadays. Just like little lines like that, which just can be a bit humorous. And then again, in terms of his actual power and damage, again, it wasn't anything amazing, but I know, especially when I first started playing Open Rifles, Sedrone was one of the first cards which I got, and although he was only back then 5 power, 7 damage, which wasn't amazing, in his artwork, especially his 4th level, I just thought it looked dead cool, and I just really enjoyed playing with that card, even though he wasn't really the best, and there's probably a lot better cards which I really could have been playing with, but I just like looking at his artwork, ultimately.
I will be honest, it's probably one of the only artworks from the old days that still really holds up today. Especially that final level.
Yeah, 100%, because, again, that was 2006 Apika, not been redesigned, but still to this day looks really, really good, and to be fair, he doesn't really stand out, I wouldn't say, compared to some of the newer cards.
I'm just going to say, if they never redrew that art, like the artwork, I'd be okay with it, because like I said, that final artwork still holds up.
Yeah, and I think he's like one of the few cards where they don't really need to redesign him.
Yeah, Gary, on the other hand.
Yeah. Really not the best. And then for the final card, what I've picked out is D4 Funk. So in case you didn't know, I'm a massive lover of dance music, so automatically you can see why I'd be a massive fan of his cards. Of course, if you look at his artwork, his first level references Skrillex when he had his famous mop, which only not too long ago it's actually now got rid of, sadly.
He did get rid of it.
So in level 2, of course, they've got a reference to Daft Punk as well as, his name alone. And then in level 3, of course, with the kind of mouse-like helmet, that's meant to be deadmau5. deadmau5 is an artist who, very luckily, I've managed to see live. Skrillex, I almost could have, because back a good few years ago, I was at a music festival, and between the two stages, the headliners were either Green Day or Skrillex, and I remember I really struggled to figure out which I should go and see, but in the end, I did end up going to see Green Day, which, looking back, it probably would have been quite cool to see Skrillex, because that was more back when he was doing his Mothership tour, like really in his heyday, but you can't complain about seeing Green Day live, you really can't. And then Daft Punk, they're one of the artists who I probably would have done anything to go and see live, but of course, a good few years ago, very sadly, they broke up, and I'll never get the opportunity, so that's just kind of a bit bittersweet for me. Looking back now, I don't really listen to that many of those artists. I think out of the 3, surprisingly, Skrillex is the person who I listen to the most. And I don't even really tend to play with D4 Funk either, like, as much as I like music, I don't really tend to play with Junks that much, which I find really surprising, considering that's me loving electronic dance music. Logically, I should be all over that clan, but I just don't, for some reason, and I don't know why.
It could be for many reasons.
Yeah.
People, throughout the years, just tend to go for, drift from one clan to the other. I have noticed a lot of the latest ones, though, they've really gone in on the, the saturated colours. Maybe that was a reason. Maybe it could just hurt your eyes.
I don't know. Yeah, because the clans that tend to gravitate towards that, they tend to be listened to All Stars. I'd say those are the main 2. And then there's a few others. Just Junks I don't tend to for some reason, and I don't know why. But I'd say ultimately for that card, what does it for me is more of the references. And that, I mean, Urban Rifles throughout the years, they've always been good with referencing popular media, all that stuff in their artwork. But I think that's one where they really hit the nail on the head for me, and I was like, yay, stuff which I'm a massive fan of, especially back in 2013 when this card got released. It made 14-year-old me very happy.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a few cards that I liked because of the reference.
Like who, for example?
Neek, for one, because, like, I've always liked Nick Valentine from Fallout.
Yeah.
And when they released a new 5, and I was like, wait a minute, that looks like Nick. That is Nick.
Yeah. Because although for a good few years I had never played Fallout, I immediately recognised where that card was from.
I think who else in terms of, like... I kind of don't want to mention the name because I don't want to open the whole can of worms, but to some degree it would be Blackie because I do like Jack Black.
Yeah. True.
I'm trying to remember how many years did you say it was since we did that episode? Was it like 5 years?
I think it were 4 years, but I can't remember.
4 years?
Something like that.
I think it might have been something like that, but yeah, Kevin's still wrong. Yeah, I'm going to say you better keep that
in. I mean, at least he's sticking with his opinions. Can't really fault him there.
I mean, true, but it's the fact that he still seems as pissed off.
Yeah.
I thought it might have calmed down a little, maybe.
No, clearly not. Anyway, my throat is just about to give in, so unfortunately I'm going to have to wrap things up here.
That's absolutely fine.
But Abby, thank you so much for joining me and just letting me get to just talk about cards for a little while.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been nice.
Yeah, like I said, no problem. It's nice to do something like this again after so long.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to do something else sometime soon.
I'd definitely be up for that.
Yeah, awesome. Anyway, what the fuck? God, that was the sound of my cat falling. What are you doing?
Have we stopped recording?
No, I was still recording.
Super real.